a lot less stuff here than before.
It's good to see you all here in one piece. I know you must have a lot of questions, but let Koichi check you over first. It's best not to let any lingering effects of the Abyss go untreated.
Thank goodness you made it back. I came here as soon as the Pyro Archon told me about your plan. Take a seat, everybody. I'll examine you one by one. All right, that should do it for now. But just to be safe, I'll perform another checkup in a couple of days. I have to say, though, I've never seen anyone react to the Abyss like you, Traveler. It's like...
She's always been special like that. She can even purify its power. Wait, now that you mention it, Paimon doesn't think she's affected either.
Given the current situation, that ability will likely play a great role in the events to come.
Of course. I still have patients to see, so I'll head out.
Thank you, Koichi.
All right. We might not see eye to eye, but we both had good... Just give it time. I'm sure...
Yeah.
All right. There's so much to discuss, I don't even know where to begin. You've seen it for yourselves now. I'll get straight to the point. Natlan is on the verge of destruction. It's very possible our nation has less than a year
Huh? No.
That's right. But I've only ever disclosed that fact to the handful of people working with me to save this nation. Our looming destruction is not a recent development, but the inevitable conclusion of the disaster the Abyss initiated.
Mulani told us a little bit about...
500 years ago, all the nations of Teyvat were invaded by the Abyss. Unlike the other nations, Natlan never had stable and deep-rooted ley lines, so we suffered the worst of the invasion. The battle against the Abyss was exceedingly long and brutal. In the end, victory came at the cost of our civilization and even then, it took centuries of solving the disasters caused by the Abyss to finally achieve the peace we know today. And still, this is but a superficial victory. The forces of the Abyss have merely been driven back underground. Their threat to Natlan remains as real as ever.
I'd never have...
The problems plaguing the Night Kingdom are all the more complicated because that realm is essentially functioning as Immediately after the war, our calculations estimated that we would have a maximum of 500 years before But at that time, we were a nation of the destitute. Our people no longer believed in victory, nor did they hold hope for the future. Our civilization was dying, our faith crumbling, and the line, if we didn't bring the nation back together, it would be foolish to even dream of defeating the Abyss in the future. So, the Archon had a long and involved discussion with the heroes of each tribe, and finally came up with a 500-year-long plan to save...
So that's what happened. After finding Gachina, I encountered a strange figure who gave me a series of new memories. Since the plan was mentioned in those memories, I guess I've been chosen to play an important role in it. But there's still something I don't understand. Those memories showed me the Pyro Archon from back then. And... Huh? But that doesn't make any sense! The Pyro Archon is supposed to be human! It's impossible for a...
That's right. The hardest thing for humans to overcome has always been time. Or rather, the natural limitations of our lifespan. A god can extend a human's life by using a certain amount of divine power, or subjecting them to a curse. But, as we all know, Natlan doesn't have gods like that. We can only rely on our own methods. A human life is like a flame destined to be extinguished. 500 years ago, I placed my life within the sacred flame. Only by dying before my time could I have the chance to wake up again.
So, in other words, this is your second life?
Yes. We only managed to defeat the Abyss all those years ago because the tribes came together as one. If the Natlan of the future was to have a fighting chance, the Pyro Archons that came after the war had to rebuild the decimated tribe. The goal was to reunite the people and restore the strength of each tribe's Wayab. Once a tribe was back to its full strength, the tribe's Wayab would select a hero. The chosen would then stand by my side in defense of our nation, just like...
So that means I'm...
That's right. You bear the ancient name Umoja, the same one held by the hero from your tribe 500 years ago. After your adventure in the Night Kingdom, I trust you've come to fully understand the meaning.
So in other words, you always knew who the Wayab were going to pick from each tribe?
Yes. According to the plan, each tribe was supposed to have been fully restored by the time I awoke. The 6 heroes successfully inherited the ancient names from 500 years ago. Once again, it comes down to the deterioration of the Night Kingdom.
Just like how the Ode of Resurrection failed to bring Kachina back.
Exactly. It's just another tactic the Abyss is using against us. The Abyss may not... If we want to unblock that information from being passed on, my presence alone isn't enough. The ancient name-bearer must... So, I've tried my best to help them from the sidelines. Currently, Shilonin of the Children of Echoes, Kinich of the Scions of the Canopy, and Iansan of the Collective of Plenty have all been acknowledged by their names. During your adventure, you too earned the acknowledgement of your Wayab Mualani. In the process, you gained the memories stored within your name.
But we have less than a year!
Yes, but we have no choice. We cannot start the plan until all the heroes have been gathered. That's also why I haven't been able to take action despite the urgency of the situation.
But if you knew this whole time, why didn't you just tell me about my role in all this?
Perhaps, but the opposite could also be true. Knowing your destiny too early could mean failing to realize your full potential. Just like your determination to save Kachina, I hope your commitment to this endeavor comes from your own strength of will, rather than a sense of obligation.
So I suppose you're not going to tell us who the final 2 heroes are then?
That's right. Their time is yet to come. Putting pressure on them beforehand will only hinder their development. I can only trust in the judgment of the Wayab. I have never believed I could solve this crisis alone. In fact, it was precisely because I chose to trust and rely on others. Natlan's salvation lies not in its Archon or any singular individual. But you're quite perceptive, aren't you? I thought I might get...
Huh? Oh, right! All of the stuff you stored here before, where did...
Even though I sacrificed my power, I still needed a contingency plan to ensure you would make it back from the... After all, I was the one who allowed you to take that risk, and Mualani has an important role. In addition to their sentimental value, the items I stored here held a much more
Fuel? Ah, so back then, that's why you...
Yes. The stories embodied by those items are certainly important, but there's an even more over time, they became imbued with a certain amount of contending fire from being carried and on their own. Each item's power is limited, but together, by burning those items, I was able to activate the contending fire stored within them to open the It was a rather crude approach, so all their power was depleted in an instant, as you can...
But weren't they all precious treasures?
That's exactly why I dragged you all here. No matter what, I never wanted the Pyro Archon. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for. You all deserve my thanks, actually. If you hadn't... And then, it would only be a matter of time before the Children of Echoes was met. Besides, when those heroes entrusted their belongings to me, or the Pyro Archon of their time, it was out of... If they knew those items helped save the present-day heroes of Natlan, they would not mourn.
Even when you put it that way,
I still feel... There's no need. Remember what I told you about time? The people and the events of the past are never truly lost to us. We simply carry them with us in a If you still have regrets, let them fuel your resolve in the battles to come. Your deeds will become new legends and nurture new forms of power just like the items once stored here.
Well, we'd still like to return the favor.
Well, if that's the case, just treat... Now that Kachina has returned, we can finally hold the victory feast, and we could all use the rest, that's for sure. Plus, you'll be...
Still, now that I know the danger...
Try not to let it get to you. It's important to stay calm. Worrying about it will only affect your judgment. All right. You should head out. I'll join you.